Coach will open up with a statement, and then we'll jump into questions.
Well, obviously it was a really big weekend on the Hill for our team and our seniors and for me personally. And now we look up and we have 2 to go. This week at Liberty should be a huge challenge for us, but we've whittled away at this thing and we're down to 2. And if we can find a way to get 2, then we're guaranteed at least a share of the regular season championship, and would be an incredible accomplishment for this young group with everything that we've been through. So excited to get back at it.
With Liberty, I think they've won now 4 straight matches. What are they doing now, especially late in the season, that makes them so dangerous?
Well, they're a lot like us. They're super young. They're freshmen, sophomores like we are, and they're interesting. They have 3 of the most talented offensive players in the league, and everybody knows the ball's going there. They're throwing the ball there, and they're still scoring there. It'll be a big challenge for us defensively to try to find a way to get them stopped. I don't think this is a weekend where you'll see it be a defensive struggle. I don't think it'll be both teams holding the other to a really low number. I think it'll be a bit of a slugfest this weekend. I think it's 2 pretty talented offensive teams that are probably going to have some problems stopping each other a little bit, and and we just have to find a way to control them a little bit. I don't think we're going to stop them, but if we can control them a little bit and then still play at the level we've been playing at offensively, then I think that's our path to finding a way to get wins.
That being said, you've got to come in with a little bit of confidence defensively coming off that last game. I mean, I don't care who you're playing. Anytime you hold negative hitting percentage.
Yeah, we played really well on Saturday. Senior days do that sometimes, and we continue to play at a really, really high level offensively, and it's really fun. This is what I anticipated us being offensively this year. Like it's literally who do you want to try to beat you, because we have matches where Olivia Skidmore is the best player in the gym on the left, and we have matches where Kyra Knox is the best player in the gym, and this weekend Delaware chose to test us in the middle a little bit, and Izzy Vanderweely and Faith Young were dominant offensively, and so that's who we are, and that's a problem for people, and so I think we're going to be able to score but we've been pushing to be a defensive unit all year, and we've been good defensively, but we haven't been great yet, and hopefully this is a weekend that we can do that.
Coach, with how special this past weekend was, having that be the final home matches, seeing friends, family, so many alumni in the stands, what boost does that give this push of the end of the regular season going into?
Yeah, I hope it does give us a boost and not fatigue us a little. There was so much going on here this weekend, and it was just such an amazing weekend all the way around for our seniors to finish the right way on their home court, and obviously with the ceremony on campus, and God gave us a beautiful day for it on Saturday, and just you hope that, there's a lot of good feelings in our locker room right now, I guess is what you would say, and you hope that we can ride that momentum through the end now. It's because every season, everybody's excited at the beginning, and you're kind of feeding off that, and then you get in the middle of the season and it's just kind of the dog days a little bit, and then you kind of pull out toward the end and you see the end is in sight, and hopefully we can ride that wave of momentum a little bit into this last weekend.
To fight through everything you guys have fought through this year, and still we're talking about you being in position to wins and be co-champions. As a coach, that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really, really proud of this team, and we have work to do, and there's still things I hope for, and everything that we're after is still really fragile. With 2 to go, because we could get a share of that championship this weekend, or we could lose it this weekend. We could be in position to get an at-large bid. I think we're in good shape there, but you also put that at jeopardy if you stub your toe, and then the conference tournament. The bottom half of the league is just significantly improved. This is a wide open tournament, moving forward, and So there's a lot that could still happen in a good way. There's a lot that could still happen in a not so good way. But you can't, regardless of how the next couple weeks turn out, it would be pretty impossible to not be able to reflect, and see. We're 22-5 and 28th in the country last week. We'll see what we are this week, and when you look at what we have returning next year and the next year, you can't not be proud of what we accomplished with everything that we faced.
Now, I've tried to find this. Maybe as a coach, you'd have a better idea. Obviously, co-championship, that's going to be, but seeding, what happens if you guys, that's still to be determined?
It is. There's a tiebreaker procedure, and, it'll come down to this and this. And I mean, obviously it goes head to head, and then it goes. At the end of the day, I don't really know what will define it. We both still have work to do. I tell you the truth, I've put no time into it because, we got a huge challenge ahead of us this week, and quite honestly, UTEP has a huge challenge ahead of them this week against FIU, who's sitting in third right now, and so we both, that would be presuming that we're both going to get through this weekend unscathed, and I don't think either one of us feel like that's a lock to happen, and so. And at the end of the day, I think this is a year in the conference tournament where it really doesn't matter that much. When you look at the 8 teams that'll probably be there and how they are all put into the bracket, I'm not really sure it matters how much, if you're a 2 seed or a 1 seed. The best part about being the 1 seed is probably going to be that you get to play first in the day, and rest more. But otherwise, I don't know that, being the 1 and playing the 8 or being the 2 and playing the 7 is really that's significant, to be perfectly honest. And so I'm not really worried about it. I literally with this team have taken this thing week by week, and we look up and we got 2 left, and it's going to be really hard. We go to Liberty, it's their senior weekend, and it's going to be really hard, and hopefully we can find a way to squeeze 2 more out.
Going back to that defense, looking at where it's come from day one to this past weekend, do you look at those injuries and all the struggles that you all dealt with earlier in the year to really hone in on that? That's how it was able to make it?
Yeah, it did 2 things to us. It, I talk about how good we are offensively right now. Well, because of all those injuries, that's not who we've been a lot of the year. We've been way more predictable. We've been way more basic, and so we had no choice but to defend at a high level. And I think that urgency brought some of that out in us. And then honestly, the better you are offensively, the easier it is to defend in the game of volleyball, because when you're really good offensively, even if the other team is keeping the ball off the ground, you're putting them in pretty tough spots, and it makes it easier to try to, get another ball back and have another opportunity. So there's no question, I think it's helped us on that side of it. I was impressed this weekend. Like, we hadn't been blocking the ball great, and we blocked the ball really, really well this weekend, and that'll help too. I always say it's floor defense, it's blocking, and it's serving, and quite honestly, we just aren't a great serving team this year. Forever I've said, we got to get better at serving, got to get better at serving. Well, we got 2 games left, so at some point you are what you are. And we've been a very average serving team, and so we got to lean heavily into our blocking and defense, and nothing will put it to the test more than this weekend, against the 20-win Liberty team on their home court.